Hmm. What is the number of Uma? So Uma atomic Uma last year. Eight. Hmm. Eight number. Filling was on eight. Looking is alive. Say what looking అందుకే స్పెల్లింగ్ నేర్చుకోమని చెప్పేది ఏబిసిలు నెంబర్స్ స్పెల్లింగ్ నేర్చుకో అంటే
Don't allow. Hello everyone, very good evening. Amar, can you please confirm me whether I am audible to you?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, thanks for the confirmation. I see people are still joining, so let us wait for 1 more minute and then we will start. Okay. In the interest of time, let us begin the session today. Let them join. So, hello everyone, very good evening. And we are very delighted to have you all here with us for this Python mastering program. And I believe you all have registered for this program, and for the same, you have been given the LMS access, right? So either you can use the LMS account that has been given to you to join the session every day, or else the Zoom link that has been shared with you, you can use it. If you fail to join the Zoom or as well because of the limit, then you can go to ExcelR's YouTube channel and view the live happening there. Okay. So without further delay, I will get into the session. Um, I'm Leela from ExcelR Solutions, working as an LMS administrator here. Today, I will be giving you an overview of our LMS functionality as well as the accessibility. And then I will hand over the session to our trainer who is diving into the topic. Okay. So when I refer it as an LMS, it is actually our e-learning portal where we avail the candidates to access the recordings of the training that has happened and the related materials, along with the opportunity to join the live session every day whenever there is a training. Okay, so I believe you all would have received the LMS access, and I'm sure that many of you have attended EDL programs earlier when we had conducted them. Okay, so Amar, kindly confirm once you see my screen. I
Yes.
started my screen share.
Yes, we are able to see your screen.
So I would request everyone to follow the same steps that I'm going to explain you now, so that you will see where you can find the session access that has been given to you. Where would you find the materials that are uploaded related to this course, and where you can see the recordings of it. Okay, so let us begin. So you can use any of the web browser available in your desktop or any other device that you are using and type onlinelearning.excelr.com. Okay, as you can see on my screen, I request everyone to access the same. Type onlinelearning.excelr.com and then you will see a web page appearing like this on your screen. So now we have to click on sign in. As soon as you click on sign in, there is a dialog box appearing on your screen where you need to enter the registered email ID and the password that you have set up. So before you type the credentials, I would like to confirm if you are the old user, you already would have set your password to it when we had given you the LMS access. If not, if you forget or any of other reasons, you are unable to recollect it. So you can try clicking on forget your password and then you can set your password to it again. Okay, so all you just need to do is click on forget your password. I am emphasizing about the people who doesn't know their password. If you are already aware how to log in, then you need not to try it. Okay, so click on forget your password and enter the registered email ID using which you register for this program and click on reset my password. Once you click on it, you will be receiving an email to reset the password with a link provided in it. So try it. I will pass 1 minute here I request everyone to log in and let me know in the chat that you could be logging into it easily. Okay. I request everyone to please try logging into the LMS. It will be easy to you to find the recordings materials that we uploaded in the LMS for your future reference. And one more thing, this LMS access remains same with you for the lifetime. There is no expiry as such. So you can log into the LMS at any particular time and you can access our recordings, the training recordings or materials, whatever that we upload as part of this training. Okay. So I believe everybody had set up. Let us try again. Click on sign in. Enter the registered email ID and the password. So now I'm giving my credentials for which I have the classroom access. Okay. And then I enter the password that I have set up. Once I click on login, I would be redirecting to the LMS. Okay. The first view would be like this on you as you see on my screen. So it has a multiple folders available in it: home, my library, store, and so on, right? So the first view would be home only, under which you will see all the classrooms access that has been given to you. So for today, if I have to talk about the access, then I must be referring Python mastery for interview success, unlocking your job potential. This is the classroom everyone's supposed to refer as part of this course for the next 4 days, including today, next 5 days, that is of 10 hours training. Okay, this is the classroom for which you have to refer. And before I dive into the classroom, I would like to let you know that the ways of joining the session. You will be having 3 privileges. Either you can use the Zoom link that has been provided to you through our campaigns. The Zoom link remains same for all the next 4 days. Okay, as you have used it today, you can use it for the next 4 days. And the second way is you can always log into the LMS. At 7 o'clock, you will see the start option and you can join the session from LMS. If you see that the Zoom link is not letting you in, then you can use our YouTube live happening in our ExcelR's YouTube channel. Okay, so I recommend everyone to follow either of these 3 ways that will for sure work out for you. Okay, so under home on your right hand side, if you see here on my screen, there is a today's session tab. And under this, you will see a schedule named Python Made Easy Master Python in 10 hours. As today is the day 1, you could see it as a day 1. If you visit LMS tomorrow, you will see it as a day 2. For the next 4 days also, you will see it as a with day count. Okay. And you can see the join option exactly at 6:45. Once you click on join, it will redirect you to the Zoom platform where you would be seeing the session happening. This is the way from LMS. Okay. And if you see that Zoom has a limit exceeded and you cannot join to it, then we made it very easy. On the first view of your LMS, you always can click on the banner that is visible on your screen, which will redirect you to the YouTube. Let me try this. I clicked on it and I have been redirected to the where you would YouTube live happening in our ExcelR channel. So if you are unable to join the Zoom, then you can try this YouTube from LMS itself. Okay, so these are the ways that let you join the session every day. Not only this CDL program, for the upcoming trainings and webinars, you can use this technical way. And then suppose if you are interested for our upcoming trainings and webinars, if you want to enroll by yourself, there is an option called store. That is the third one. Once I click on store, you will see the latest webinars happened and also will be happening in future. If you see here, I see 2 courses access in my store where I can enroll by myself. So this is the webinar happened yesterday. If you want to visit, if you want to refer that recording, you can enroll here. And if any one of you don't see the access of Python training, you can enroll by yourself here from the store itself. Okay. So click on this enroll now. And then again, you have to click on enroll. And it will ask you whether you want to proceed or not. So agree, proceed. That's it. This classroom access has been given to you. If you see our next webinar, which is going to happen on next Monday, the same access will be visible in the store. You can enroll by yourself if you want to. And next week also, we will be having certain type of training on full stack development. So you can enroll it from the store, or else you can register for the program through ExcelR official website. Okay. So these are the updates from the store. You can visit and you can enroll by yourself. And coming to the classroom structure that I supposed to refer for this program is Python Mastery for Interview Success, which is under Home tab. Once I click on this right arrow link, I would be redirecting to the, okay. So one person requested him in the chat that he is not able to access the classroom. So all that I explained till now is I just logged into the LMS. Under Home tab, I will see the classroom access for this program, which is Python Mastery for Interview Success and Unlocking Your Job Potential. If you don't see this access has been given to you, you can go to the store and you can click on enroll now for this particular training, and you can make it available in your LMS by yourself. So try it by your own and let us know if you can't do it. Yeah. So coming to the classroom structure, once I clicked on the right arrow link, then I would be redirecting to the classroom structure where I have 2, folders available. One is curriculum and the second one is me. So if you see curriculum, there are 3 certain folders available here, right? Let me adjust my screen. Yes. So there are 3 folders available on your screen. Let us talk about the session recordings first. So if you see, if you think that how can we access the recordings after this training is over? Well, you can come to the LMS and this classroom access will remain same with you. And once you open that classroom, you will see the session recordings folder available in it under curriculum tab. If you click on this day 1, you will see the recording available once after the session is over. Suppose if you come to the LMS after 9 o'clock, you can see the session recording available in your LMS. So like this, for all the 5 days, we make the recordings available in the LMS itself. Okay, this is how you can access the recordings from session recordings tab under curriculum. And coming to the materials, we already availed all the materials for this particular training, which are made by our trainer, and he is going to refer these materials during the sessions. And all these are PDFs. You cannot download these to your device, but you can access them from the LMS directly. And I will show you few navigations. If you want to make it full screen, then you can click on and use the full screen mode. And if you want to zoom in, you can zoom in. And if you want to zoom out, you can do it. And if you want to jump into the particular slide, you can use this thumbnail option and you can choose the slide wherever you want to go. Okay. So this is how you can access these features available to access the PDF. And remember, these PDFs will not be downloaded to your device, but they can be accessed from the LMS purely. And if there are any code files, suppose if our trainer refers for a particular Python code that he wants all of you to practice, then by next day of the session, we make sure that we upload all the practice codes in the LMS with the downloadable option, you can download them to your device. Okay. And coming to the first tab, where you can submit the feedback of the session. It always encourages us seeing your feedbacks of the session that you attend. Okay. And it enable us to conduct more and more trainings like this. So we recommend everyone to submit the feedback form at 8:30 p.m. In during the session. At 8:30, our team member will share you the feedback link in the chat, both in the Zoom and YouTube. In case if you don't see it, you can come to the LMS, and this tab you will see the feedback link available, and it is active in between 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. You can give your response here filling this Google form available. And remember, we consider your feedback form as your attendance that you have attended the session. And we see that if you acquire 60% of the attendance throughout this program, then you will be getting the participation certificate from ExcelR. I hope all the things are clear. In case if you want to know further about this program, or if you have any concerns, or any if you are unable to access our LMS or something, you can write us an email to edl@excelr.com. And it is hard for me to repeat this the KT that I have given till now, because the trainer is already ready to deliver you the content. So I recommend everyone to refer the recording that is available, or else view the live after the session is over. Then you will get to know how you can access our LMS and everything. Okay. So I wish you very all the best and have a great learning with ExcelR solutions. And last but not the least, I would like to introduce our trainer to you all. The trainer would be for this Python program would be our esteemed trainer, Mr. Diptarko, who has 15 years of experience in the industry, and he can make these sessions more interactive, and you can have the best knowledge out of it. And I would recommend everyone to utilize this opportunity and upskill your knowledge. Okay. Hi, Diptarko.
Hello, Leela. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Thanks a lot for this wonderful KT. And thanks a lot, all of you participants, for joining us on a Monday evening. By the way, am I audible?
Yes,
Amar,
you are.
Leela? Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. Right. So before we start off, guys, few rules of the class. Yeah. So first of all, there are a lot of people here. So please let's ensure that we don't turn this session into a free for all. Yeah. So you will have doubts, you will have questions. Please put in your questions in the chat. Put questions relevant to the class. Okay. Wait for me to answer back. Obviously, I can't scroll through all the chats all the time, but I will take off time and try to address your questions. Okay, so that's the basic decorum that we agree to maintain in the class. So you have come here to unlock your potential for job interviews by mastering Python. So 10 hours, 10 very intense hours. So please focus. Okay, please focus. The more you focus, the better you will have an understanding. Do understand that Python means programming. So you have to understand, you have to try on your own, and only then go out of the class. Your classes will continue right after you have walked out of the session, and that what we teach in the class, the expectation is that you take it back and try practicing on your own. Apart from that, I will also give you time to practice along with me. I don't believe in explaining theory. I believe in hands-on approach. And at ExcelR, we take hands-on approach very seriously. And that's what we would like you also to develop a habit for. Yeah, fair enough. So then with that, let's start off. Doubts, questions, everything, please keep it. Wait for me to finish. And we will also try that towards the end of the session, last 5 to 10 minutes, we will keep a dedicated slot just for you to ask your questions. Okay, so can I get an emphatic yes from you guys? Yeah. can put in your yes, no, maybe. Okay, thank you. Yeah, you can message me directly. Very good. Don't raise your hands, please message. Okay. Okay, yes, 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 yes. Great, very good. Thanks a lot. Board, somebody say board. Yes, okay. Good, thanks. Cheers. Okay, guys. Okay, so let me start with a what should I say? With a small story with you. It's a real life story, huh? So, as Leela told you, I have 15. Actually, my experience is a bit more because given the fact that the CV that has gone out, I do understand that it's a bit less stated. It should have been updated. Leela, sorry about that. I will just correct it and send you. Yeah, but having said that, see, I'm a teacher. That's true. That's my passion. But also, I have a day job. My day job is that I work with a Indian IoT product company. In IoT, I'm not sure how many of you do understand. It means Internet of Things. And it's one of the top hot raging topics in the world now. One of the top 5 job providers. And it includes end-to-end development, integration of various technologies like sensors, gateways, cloud, data analytics, data visualization, AI, ML. So it's a complete end-to-end stack, business intelligence, right? So the side we practically, as in my company, works on is that it works with sensors, mainly for the environment monitoring sensors. So suppose there's a huge green room of a medicine pharmacy company, pharmaceutical company, or a company which manufactures medicines. Okay, so we have to monitor, suppose, the environment parameters in the green room so that any amount of excess of any of the environment parameters can cause a can impact adversely the quality of the medicine, its longevity, and a whole host of parameters. Yeah. So in such cases, what happens? You have to real-time monitor whether there's a 1 degree Celsius change, 1 degree Fahrenheit change in the temperature, or a 1 ppm change in the gaseous components, volatile gases, etc. And if there are, then you have to automatically switch on things like fans, ACs. Maybe you have to bring in decongestants. Okay. So it's a very near real-time job. Okay, and such logic, such complex logic, which decides whether a certain threshold has been breached, which continuously reads data from sensors, electronic sensors, hardware, and then uploads the data to the cloud and keeps a tab, probably on a small gateway running somewhere at a corner of this green room, is implemented by Python. Okay. So yes, you won't be able to see me because I'm going to share my screen shortly. I'm just telling you something. Audio is not coming. Somebody is saying audio is not coming. Can you confirm if it's an issue with all of you? Are you able to hear me?
No, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Audible. Thanks a lot. Right, great. So guys, please just check out your audio. Okay, maybe you can restart your system or you can check your microphone audio settings. Good. Yeah. Right. So back to the story that I was telling you. So such complex logic is implemented by using Python, and sometimes we actually use interns from colleges, 3rd year, 4th year students to implement such complex scenarios, such complex technology, because it's very easy to pick up Python. Do you see where I'm arriving at? So the topic for your webinar has been that unlocking your job potential by mastering Python. It's a very good name. And why is it so? Over the last 4-5 years that I've been teaching, even more than that, 5+ years now nearly, that I've been teaching along with my technology work, I have seen that the better base you have in programming, I won't say Python only, it can be any programming language, But I will come why specifically Python. The better base you have, the stronger are your foundations, the more are your opportunities. The wider is the reach that you have with companies, the more advantage you have, edge you have in actually working for people who are trying something totally new and from scratch, especially startups. Yeah. Startups, as you know, India is now called as one of the startup capitals of the world. Okay. India is known as the startup capital of the world now. There are quite a few unicorns here in India, and every day the numbers going up. Who knows, maybe one of you will start up in the next few years, come up with a unicorn, and you will actually make technology as diverse as maybe ChatGPT. Okay. Bring in an Indian version of ChatGPT or even better, which is generative AI. You might actually be powering on the next spacecraft that's being sent to Mars. You may be developing weapon systems for the Indian Armed Forces, and you will probably stamp it with the pride of Made in India. You might be actually analyzing the health data of a patient somewhere far away in the Sundarbans in Bengal, remote Sundarbans in Bengal. Or, for all you know, you might be creating next-gen games. And all of this, remember, you will have an edge with Python programming. Okay, so that's the short of it. Now that I have your attention on it, what do you need to do to master this? First of all, be regular for these 10-hour classes. I know some of you will be asking me, can we master it with 10 hours? Well, from our side, we will try to do it for you. See, education is a three-pronged approach, okay? One is what you learn from the teacher at class. Second is what you apply on your own and take it forward. And third is what you discuss with your friends and classmates. Okay. So we are giving our side of the things. So from your side, the expectation is, as I said at the beginning of the class, that you will take this very seriously and you will practice. Do understand that we have very less time here, so it may not be possible for us to actually show you a lot of programming or a lot of questions. We will obviously introduce you to them, but the idea is that you will take it forward, okay, by practicing. Guys, those of you are pinging me that you can't see anything. Why do you need to see? I am not showing anything right now. Please have patience. Okay, just listen to me. Okay, right. So we will cover the basics of Python. We will start with the total basics, assuming that you have no idea of any programming language whatsoever. Then we will move on to the intermediate parts and then the advanced. Okay, so before I start off now with the session, what I request you to do is quickly, you need to download Python so that without wasting much time, we can start off with hands-on programming itself. So how do you download Python? So we will be using the basic Python IDE here, which comes bundled with Python, which is the IDLE. Obviously, there are more IDs of that more later. Now you can go to here, python.org. This is the official site of Python. Okay, come here, downloads. The latest which you see here is a download for Windows. It is Python 3.11.4. Okay, if you see here carefully, it gives you the options, Windows, Mac OS, other platforms, whatever. So you can go to all releases. Okay, so you can download either the latest, which is Python 3.11.4, or you can download any of the older versions, provided it's 3.8 upwards. Okay, so what do? You come here, suppose you have this option, say, let's say Python 3.9. You download here. Okay, it tells you what you can download. Okay, one is, if you see for Linux users, you can use this gzip source starball, you can do it. Or for Windows users, okay, for the legacy Python 3.11. Okay, so my suggestion, they are giving that use the Python 3.11. So better you go here, say Python 3.11.4. This exe is what comes for Windows. Okay, Windows other versions, as in I said, for suppose if you don't want the Windows one, and go here, say all releases. You can come here, Linux US. Okay, latest Python 3 release. So here, what happens is, so you have the gunzip tarball. You can download for Linux, as you can see here. Mac OS, this one is the installer, Mac OS 64-bit universal installer. Can use this for Windows installer 64-bit or 32-bit. Okay, yes, it is okay in 3.10 version. Google Colab you can use, guys, absolutely. If you know how to use Colab, go ahead and use it. I don't have a problem. Likewise, you can use Jupyter Notebook or anything. But those of you who have no idea whatsoever, just follow me along. Okay, you can download this. So right, can you please start off, guys? Python.3.114. So now when you click it, yeah, the executable, see, I am using Windows and I already have it installed. So I'm not going to install it again, but I will just show you what happens. So a screen like this opens. It says install Python 3.11.4 64-bit. Okay. And then what I need to do, I need to check this box, add python.exe to path. Then I need to click this install now. And then what happens is over here, you just have something like this. Next, next, next. Okay. Once this is done, you get a window like this saying setup was successful. Then you can close it off. Okay. And how do you know you have installed properly? So once it's done, you come to your startup menu, say IDLE. You open this and a white screen like this comes up and opens. Okay. Right. Yeah. So quickly do this. VS Code, Python 3, yes, absolutely. You can use VS Code. If you want to use Jupyter Notebook, you can use it. You want to use PyCharm, you can use it. Okay, Python 3.9, absolutely fine. Python 3.10, fine, absolutely. 5 minutes, yes, I'm giving you 5 minutes. Devendra, I have already told you that you don't need to know a thing at all. Yeah. If you are focusing and if you focus on the content and my class, you will understand, you will know, and then if you practice, you will get a good grip on this topic. You will fall in love with it. And once you fall in love with somebody, then that somebody loves you back. So it's a lived happily ever after. You get my point? Right. Good. Yes, I'm giving you 5 minutes. Get going. If you don't have laptop, it will be tough for you, my dear. Yeah. Get a proper laptop. I am not sure that coding comes with app. You can use a Colab also. Amar, some of them are asking questions related to login and all. Can you please
Yeah,
address
sure.
it?
So guys, if you have any query or question regarding to the LMS, please drop an email to edl@excelr.com. Okay, our team will connect with you. I am sharing that mail ID in the chat box. Please take it up.
I'm giving the link for downloading Python with all of you. Please note it. Go to python.org and nothing else, not com, not co.in, nothing. Jayashree, probably check your audio, please, because multiple students are confirming that my voice is perfectly clear. Okay. I'm giving you time till 7:45. Finish it off, then we will continue. Those of you who have no idea of Google Colab, I will show you also what is Google Colab. It's a quick, easy way, online code. Those of you who are having problem in downloading idle, ideally I would want you to use idle. Go to this colab.google. Okay. You can say new notebook. Remember, it's online on the cloud, so you might have to wait for a while. So you can start coding here like this, print hello world. But you will have a problem later on when you actually import your modules and all. So for today, this is okay, but please try to use this thing, your own ideally or IDE something, whichever you have. Can be VC, it can be PyCharm. Okay, somebody is saying that PyDroid 3 app can be used by those who don't have laptops. Well, I'm passing on the message. Can check out. Thanks a lot, Bhagya. PyDroid 3. PyDroid 3. Okay, 2 more minutes. Let me know. Those of you have finished, please drop me a done. Done. Okay, quite a few of you have done. Very good. Okay, great. Wonderful. You guys are fast. Excellent. Okay, installing, no problem. Okay, good. Done. Very good. Done. Done. Okay, good. Good. Fantastic. I will give 1 more minute, finish up, then we will have then we will continue with some more stories. Okay. Gaurav, what you can do is I have already shared the document in LMS. You can go back today after the class, look at it and install it. In the meanwhile, as I've shown you, if anybody is unable to install properly for the moment, please use Google Colab. Look here, please, at my screen. And all those of you who are using about apps, PyScripted and all, if it works, you can use it. I have never used it, to be very frank with you, nor do I need to use it because it's a real work, life work. Coding with app doesn't help us. So, but if it works, it works. Fantastic. I don't have an issue. Okay, guys, come on. Let's look at. Okay, now let's revise a few basic things. Okay, now all of you, I believe you're all mostly college students. Some of you are working professionals, maybe. So tell me, what language does a computer speak? Let me see your answers. What is the language in which a computer speaks? Binary, zeros and ones, machine level language, binary, zeros, ones, binary. Very good. Okay, fantastic. But what is a 0 and 1? What is a binary in this case? What does the 0 mean? What does that 1 mean? Plural language, true, false, machine language. What else? True or false? 0 low, 1 high, 0 1 on, 1 off. True or false? Machine language, bit, binary code, true. I'm still not getting the answer that I'm looking forward to. What is that 0? Somebody said low, which is fine. Somebody says off. Now, what actually does it mean? Bits and flags, false. Boolean. Okay, see, it's like this. 0 means actually it's an electrical pulse of 0 volt. Nothing. 1 means a high pulse of 5 volt. Right? So at the end of the day, your computer understands nothing else other than an electrical signal, electrical pulse. Okay? So it understands nothing else than a pulse. But do you understand electrical pulses? Can you actually tell the computer, send the computer a high volt, 5 volts from your finger, like Shaktiman? You can't, right? Correct? You speak a human language, and the computer understands a machine language, which is a 0 and 1, as you rightly said, all of you, or which is actually a low volt or high volt. But how does this translation work? Okay, so to translate this, your language, into the computer's language, there's somebody in between. That somebody in between is known as a translator. Mostly there are 2 types of translators. One is called as an interpreter and the other is an what? Compiler. Okay. Now the difference between the two is that in the case of compiler, the compiler is like a person. You know what? A compiler. So when heads of states actually read something, and there's a foreign, suppose Macron visits India and he speaks in French, and our Prime Minister Modi speaks in Hindi. So between them, there are two sets of translators. So maybe Macron reads out one interparagraph, and that one paragraph in French is then translated into Hindi. And Modi, similarly, Modi reads in Hindi and that is translated into French. So compiler is basically a translation system which takes the entire code, looks for all sorts of errors, issues, etc., 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 and then at one shot translates your entire code into a machine readable binary language. Whereas in the case of an interpreter, what happens is that an interpreter, it's like a line by line translation. So suppose it checks your first line, it executes it, then the second line, then it executes it, and then the third line. Okay, so here then is the difference. So naturally interpreters, but the point is that compile level language is actually much faster. It's unlike an interpreter which goes through one line, reads it, understands it, and then translates it. A compiler at one shot, it finishes everything. But the problem also is with the compiled language is that suppose you have 1,000 lines of code and some line has an issue towards the end, say the 990th line has an issue, but the compiler will give you an error till you look into each and every line and rectify this 990th line. But not so with an interpreter. It will execute that 989 line till the 989th line it will execute and then tell you, okay, 999th line has got an issue. Yeah. So this is the major difference between a compiler and interpreter. Why do I tell you all this? You probably will never use it, but it's good to understand what goes on under the hood. Okay. Clear till here? Okay, now one more concept is that we will understand what's a memory. Okay, so how many types of computer memories are there? Yeah, broadly two types, correct. So there broadly two types, RAM or ROM, correct. Yeah. So RAM means random access memory, ROM means read-only memory. RAM is the part of memory. Acha, by the way, again, these memories are what? They are a electrical component, right? Not an electrical component, I'm sorry. They're an electronics component. Can anybody tell me what is it? How are RAMs created? What is the electronic component behind a RAM? Okay, so there are things called transistors. Yeah, exactly. Good. Transistors, which actually again are very small micro electronic components, which are responsible for storing your data. In the case of a RAM, what happens is that as long as the thing is powered on, your system is powered on, it is stored. Otherwise, the data is erased. In the case of a ROM, it's like a permanently etched. RAM is primarily used by the applications for processing data for your various calculations, numerous calculations, right? So when we will talk of the term memory, you will understand here that I'm speaking of the term RAM. Okay, so I will tell you things like this data type is stored at this address in memory. Okay, that means this data, which is nothing else but a collection of zeros and ones, have been stored in some place in memory. Okay, and this has got a logical address also. Okay, so these are some primary terms that we have to address our basic understanding, the basic electronics behind all this, the basic computational skills, activities that will go behind all this. Okay, right. So I have told you about interpreter and compiler. Python, what type of language then is Python? Python is actually, at the surface of it, it looks like an interpreted language, but actually Python is a compiled language. Python is compiled first in, means the entire code is checked for various issues, any syntax errors are there, etc., etc. And then what happens? An intermediate byte code is generated out of this code, which again runs on the Python code and executes each line one at a time. Okay, so Python is actually a mixture of compiled and interpreted, but to you, an ordinary user, it will seem to be an interpreted language. Okay, and by the way, I haven't told you who is the developer of Python. The person who created Python his name is Guido van Rossum. This is the person, the Dutch programmer. Currently, sorry, 1 minute. Currently, he works with Dropbox. He's the chief mentor of Python, and he was termed as the dictator for life, benevolent dictator for life. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Shaida, it's a high-level language. Correct. Sheikh, correct. High-level language. Why high-level language? Because it's an English-like language. And trust you me, this is more English-like than any other language you would have previously worked with. Say C, C++, Java. Okay. Right. So far, so good. And now let's write your first Python code. So open up your IDLEs or your IDEs or your Google Colabs and just print out like this: print hello world. And then let the fun begin. Come on. Yes. Now, if you finish this, so you will see two things over here. Over here, you have something called as a print here. Then you gave a bracket which opened and closed, and you wrote a string here, and then something was echoed out to you. So now this is actually the function to print out onto your screen an output. What did it print out to your screen? It printed out this word, hello world. Okay, this sentence rather, hello world. Okay, so you see, it's as simple as that. Why is Python as simple? It's because if you remember, those of you who have worked on C anytime, C or C++, you actually need to write quite a few lines of code like hash input, right? What the hash include stdio.h, void main, open braces, close brace. Then in that you type out print hello world. So that 4 or 5 lines of code is actually done in one single line over here. Okay, so this is the beauty, this is the simplicity and the power of Python. And this is why a lot of people are taking up Python as their first language. Okay. So now that you've written the first Python here, now next is one more thing you can do. You can do some mathematics also, just for fun. 2 into 2 raised to the power 4. Okay. So this means 4 raised to the power 4 exponentiation 4, which is 256. See, you can also do maths with Python. In fact, nowadays, when I have to do some calculation, I simply open up my IDLE screen and just do the maths here. Okay. Now, let's come to the basics of the language. So the grammars of the language, the rules of the language, any language that you learn when you picked up your first languages, say English, Hindi, or whatever is your mother tongue picked up, you were taught about the rules, about the grammar of that language. So Python also has a few basic grammar, but unlike other languages, it doesn't have many rules. It's like a wild, wild west wherein you have very less restrictions on you. Okay. You can pick up that's why you can pick up the language fast. But having said that, there are a few rules which we will discuss here. Okay, so first thing is, let's understand what the term identifiers means. So here, as you can see this topic, it's named as identifiers. Now, can you tell me, okay, so if I tell you identifiers is actually a name of a person, okay, can you tell me the identifier for a few persons whom you know of? Yeah. Any name of a person that you can think? Suppose Bill Gates, teachers, very good, right? Steve Jobs, correct? So what is it? It identifies a particular human being with the name Bill Gates. It identifies a particular with the person named Steve Jobs, or here in my screen, if you see, this is a Ferrari. I believe it is. I may be wrong. No, I think it's some Lamborghini. And this is a Maruti Suzuki Ritz, right? So they are both cars, but they have a unique identifier. Okay. Similarly, our data type in Python has to be provided a name before we can work with it, or a identifier has to be provided. Okay, so a Python identifier is a name used to identify a variable, function, class, module, or any other object. Now, one more concept very quickly. Okay, we will just discuss this concept and then I will give you a small 5 minutes gap. First day, we will have gaps in between also so that you can refresh your understanding. Okay. So one more concept that we will quickly discuss here, and it's very important, is called classes and objects. I will give you a very high overview now. Don't worry if you don't understand anything, because we will take it up in details later on. Okay. And what happens is, Python, when it was developed as a completely object-oriented programming language. OOP. Okay, it's a so the philosophy behind this was first class everything. So what is a class and object in that case? Suppose you are you're developing a house for yourself. So you hire an architect, and the architect does what? The architect draws out the house, the blueprint with all specifications, etc., etc. Once this blueprint is ready, then your contractor comes in and builds the house for you, right? So the blueprint is known as a class, and the house, when it is built, is known as an object. Okay, so a class is basically a blueprint, whereas an object is a real life implementation of that blueprint, of the drawing, of that idea. Similarly, say human being, we have a genetic blueprint out of which an actual human being is born. Okay, so in Python, everything that you see is actually class and object. So if I do like this, a equals to 2, unlike other languages where this would have been an integer, here we will call it as a variable of class int, or an object of class integer. Okay, did you get it? Okay, I will repeat about identifiers definitely. But did you get this concept? Class and object. At least a very high 40,000 feet overview is fine with me. Okay. Great. So nowadays, any which ways you have ChatGPT, so you can also check at ChatGPT to get a more deeper understanding of classes and objects while we come to the topics in the later sections. Yeah. Okay. Again, quickly, one of you asked about identifiers. Identifier, let me see who asked me this question. What is the person's name? Asked me. I think Meghna, you asked me, right? Okay. Right. Meghna, so in this class full of people, I said that some person asked me that question. So person is a generic thing, right? And when I actually searched up and saw that it is Meghna who has asked me that question. So do you see, Meghna, you have an identifier. I identify you from this pool of people here, of these 900 or 1000 people that are there. I identify you by your name, correct? So an identifier basically means a name of a variable. Okay. For example, here, this variable, which is an integer variable, has a name called a. And what happens whenever you do it in memory, as I said, certain bytes are allocated for it. And over here, this value is stored and it has got a name as well now. Okay. But do remember, my dear ones, that this is actually an object. So what has happened? You have created an object with the name A of class integer. Okay. Good. Right. So what we will do now is we will take a quick 5 minutes break. Just go through the concepts that I've told you. Try understanding it. If you want to go out, walk, take a cup of tea, coffee, you're welcome. Do that, come back. And then we will continue with the next topic, which is the rules. Namita, I will do it, but towards the end of the section. Now, for the moment, just please be here with me. Okay. Towards the end of the session, I will give you a quick recap. You haven't missed out much, by the way. So whatever you have missed out, I will repeat it. Okay. So we assemble again at 8:10. Okay, right. So let's jump back into the topic at hand. So what are the rules of grammar here in Python? Some very basic rules and some good to do's are mentioned here. Okay. Variable lengths can be of anything. So a name can be, you don't have to have actually a set rule on this. Name should be so much long or so much. It can be this or it cannot be this. It can be of any length. Okay. An identifier starts with a letter capital A to capital Z or small a to small z or an underscore, followed by 0 or more letters, underscores, and digits 0 to 9. So what it is saying is that a name can start like this, can go like this, a name underscore class equals to any name. Okay, can be like this, anything again, but it cannot be this. You see, it gives you an error like this in red. Syntax error, leading zeros in decimal integer literals are not permitted. Use a 00 prefix for octal integers. Okay, so this is first rule. Length can be of anything. Identifier starts with a letter A to Z or small a to Z or even an underscore. Okay. No other special characters are allowed. So you cannot use things like this at the rate of hi. You will get an error. You cannot use things like hello world equals to hello. Okay. And identifier names are case sensitive. Okay. So by the way, A equals to 10 and A equals to 20 are not same, not one and the same. Okay. Now in this relation, I will quickly tell you something over here. That is, I used a function previously called type. Type A gave me class int. I'll give you another ID A. Okay. So type, this function that you see here, this tells you if you pass the object A to it or the variable A to it for the moment without taxing your brains too much, think of this variable A. If I pass to this type parameter, it tells me what type of variable it is or what object basically. If I pass it to this function called ID, it gives me the memory address of that particular variable. Okay. That means, what did I say? Memory address. Quickly recap for me. What was the memory that I was talking of? What did I tell you? Over here, when I talk of memory here, RAM. Very good. Very good, RAM. Good. So again, this is some location, some logical address wherein this variable A has been stored. Something like this. Okay. So it tells you this. Okay. And if I see what is this ID of A, so you see it is another totally different memory location. This is CA. Okay. So this is how Python is case sensitive also. Okay. Now, few good practices. Class names start with an uppercase letter. So guys, again, I'm telling you, don't worry too much about this class now, but do know it that that everything, as I said in Python, is an object out of a class. And this class names, usually when you define your own class name, it should start with a upper letter, something like this. Class A, class, pass. And what else? What else are the other good practices? Identifier when it starts with a single underscore and okay. Now these 3 rules, I just want you to memorize now without understanding anything about them right now. Okay, just memorize these 3 points. An identifier starting with a single leading underscore indicates that the identifier is private. If it starts with 2 leading underscores, it means it is strongly private. And if it starts with 2 underscores leading and ends with 2 underscores, it is a language defined special name. Just memorize them. We will come back to their meaning later on. Okay. Now, one more category. You cannot use reserved words for naming your identifiers. What are reserved words? These are certain special words which are used by the Python language itself. Okay, it's a part of the Python language's format. Okay, like false, class, finally, is, return, none, continue. So these are the reserved words. Now, as we go through the topics, you will see how each of these are used. But to give you a quick idea, over here, the word false means a binary false or 0. Sorry, Boolean false, okay? The word true means a Boolean true or 1 or any non-zero. A, it is a test of 2 conditions. Say A greater than 0 and A lesser than equal to 20. Okay, you see, this is again a reserved keyword. So you cannot use reserved keywords as your own identifier and say and equals to 1. You will get an error. It will say syntax error, invalid syntax. Okay, so we will look at each of these reserved keywords as we go through. Now, quickly, one more thing. Guys, commenting is a very important, commenting is something very important. In a very good program is actually written with a lot of comments. Let me show you an actually production grade code. You know what's a production grade code? You see, this is a code from a production server. And you see here, there are comments which describes what this code is doing. The beginning of the code, there are comments. In between the code, there are comments. Okay. There are a lot of comments everywhere so that the person who is going to take up this code from you, or even you as a programmer later on, understand what you had written and why you had written. So commenting is very important. Now we will see how commenting is done. Acha, somebody is saying not audible, not audible. Please check, Aman, please check your connection. Okay. So commenting is done usually in this way. If you give if you give this hash, then the Python interpreter understands that this is a comment and it treats it as a comment. Or if you give a double quote, you can use multi-line comments. This is a long enter, multi-line enter comment and close it off. So this also is treated as a comment and it is not processed. Okay, so use comments well. Whenever you start a code, first think through how are you going to implement. First think of the problem. Understand what is the problem, then think of implementing it. And before you implement, you write small chunks of comment to say, okay, this is how I'm going to implement the code. Or if you're not comfortable with it, write the code a bit, run it, test it, and then once you're sure that this code is fine, you write the comment. But it is always better to actually comment off first. Right. So commenting, this also we have seen. You understand why comments are important. And now this is very important. Code blocks and line indentation. Let me show you now. Okay. By the way, friends, the screen here that had been showing you till now is called as a IDLE shell. It is like a workspace in which I just run a line of code and see if it is working or not. But if you have to write entire codes, you have to open an option called as a file. Either you open a new file, or if you have an old file already, you can open it like say personal trainings, ExcelR, Python training programs. Indentation. Basically, let's take. Okay. So again, for those who are a bit conversant with C or C++, you will remember that we used to put braces, right? So suppose something like this. Let me open this. Say we used to write like this, right? Say if A greater than 10, then what? We used to give a bracket like this. Then within this, right? Okay. A plus C equals to 1, print A, etc. Then once this is done, we will close it off with another curly bracket. In Python, this sub-blocking is done by using a dot, a colon, and a indentation. So it's something like this. Look at me, guys, carefully. If A is 10, if A is equal to 10, that means what? If the current value of A is equal to 10, then what? I give a colon here, right? Look at this. And then I press enter. So do you see this cursor now actually stands indented? It is not in the same line as if. It has been moved by one space. Okay, so this is known as indentation. Okay, if A equal to 10, then what I can say anything, print. Okay, it's a match. Okay, same thing here. If you look at my screen here, for the moment, understand that I am asking the user to enter a number and I'm storing it in this identifier called var1. I am saying if var1 is greater than 10, what? Do this. Else if var1 is equal to 10, do this. Else if it is, else some other condition, you do this. Some other condition would be what? Lesser than 10. Okay. Now you see the indentation is so important. Let me run it. Okay. Run module. Please enter a number. Let me see 20. So it replies greater than 10. Okay. But what if I dedent it? I give a backspace here and align it. Now then if I run it, what happens? See, it gives me an error saying expected an indented block after if statement. Why? Because the moment I gave an if, the interpreter understood that after this colon, there's a sub block of code and it should be indented. Okay, so how do I indent it now? So I go here, format, see over this indent region. Format, go to this format ribbon, indent region. Or suppose this else if, I have indented it. Then also I will get an error because if and else if, they should be at the same line. Okay, so what should I do now? So I can dedent it. Dedent it means push back format, dedent region. Got it? Are you clear Did you get the idea? This is very important, guys, and I want you to try this out quickly. Okay, indentation. Please open. Go. Those of you who are using ideally, come here, file, open a new file. Okay, you can enter something like this. A is equal to 10 or 20, and then type out what I've done here. Okay, I've used var1, you can use var1, you can use A. Do this, do the indentation, because most of the problems as beginners you will face is with proper indentation of the code. I'm giving you 3 minutes to finish it off. As I said, the session has got to be hands-on. Within the limits, boundaries of time, we have to have it hands-on. Okay, great. Keshava, very good. Shagufta, very good. Extremely good, guys. You're picking up very fast. Fantastic, Shaiva. Good Sai, good Nasimha, very good. Yes, Yamini, you can type out. And type out your question. Finish it. I'm going to take 2 minutes of questions after that. Yes, Elif should also have a quote. Remember, guys, this quote is to tell, not quote, sorry, I'm so sorry, the colon. The colon is to tell the interpreter that I'm going to start a new sub-segment of code over here. Okay, so it's like this. Although we haven't covered it, but this else if, it's like you speaking with your friend. If I can finish my work by 5 p.m. today, we go for a movie. Else if I finish by 7 p.m., we go out for a dinner. If not, if none of these, then we go home and sleep. Okay. Now, in the interest of time, let's move on. So code block, multi-lines, etc., is done. Okay. I will give you a question, an interview question. Okay. I'm sharing this on your screens, DMs. I'm DMing all of you guys, as in I'm messaging. Tell me which one of this is the correct option. Look at it carefully. Which of the following is an invalid variable? Remember the rules of grammar. Most of you are saying B, D, D. One person says C, B, D. Okay. Right. Those of you who are saying B, you are correct, because as I told you, names identifiers cannot start with anything else apart from a capital A to capital Z or small a to small z or an underscore. Cannot start with special characters. It cannot start with a number. So B is the invalid option. Okay. Try this. Another interview question. Okay, I see that all of you are die. Good. Very good. You guys sure are fast. Good. Right. Which of the following is true? Unlimited length. Yes. Python identifiers can be of unlimited length. All private members must have leading and trailing underscores. Not at all. Underscore and ampersand are the only two special characters allowed. No. Underscore is allowed, but not ampersand. None of the mentioned. No, none of the mentioned is not also correct. So option A is the correct option. Good. Okay. Cool. Okay. So do one thing. You can ask me your questions, and also I think Amar has shared with you the attendance link. So finish it off. Amar, do they need to do it right now? They can do after the class.
Yeah, they can do after the class. I will share again, no problem.
Okay. In that case, I will take 2 minutes worth of questions. Yeah. That's 8:32 till 8:34. I will take questions. Then we will move to the next topic, which is data types, Python data types. So we will start up with the numeric data types today. These are all your foundations. So please go through them with patience. Okay. You have questions for me, you can ask. Chetrali, why we write string in double quote, right? No, Chetrali, again, Python is very different. We just don't write in double quotes. We can write with single quotes. We can write with triple quotes also. I haven't got to till strings till now. So once I go to it, I will explain the logic behind it. Kirti, there's a none type is there, but it's not specifically a data type actually. It means none. Okay. Case mess. Can we do 2 and 3 again? What is 2 and 3? Case mess. Can you tell me, please? Questions 2 and 3. Can we give same values of different values? Is that give? Srinivas, I didn't get your question. I'm just trying to understand. Can we give same values of different values? Is that gives the same location or not? Not sure of the question, Srinivas. Okay. Amar, so there's one question I'm not able to follow. Could you please tell me about option B in question 7? Different variables. Will you be going over ops exceptions? Rajshekhar, I think the syllabus has been shared with you all, no? Have you gone through the syllabus? Thread concepts are definitely not there. Exceptions are there. Oops is there, in case you're asking of oops. Garbage storage in Python. Good question, Kirti. Kirti, basically, Python takes care of many of these things. Garbage storage, garbage clearance. It takes it on its own. So you don't have to worry too much about it. Okay. Shushmita, could you please tell me about option B in question 7? What is option B in question 7? Some of you are asking me in question 2. Case mess also. Option B. Okay, all private members. Is this one you are saying, Shushmita? All private members must have leading and trailing underscores. Okay, Srinivas, good question. I will come to it. Just give me a moment. Yeah. So in case you're asking about this, all private members must have leading and trailing underscores. No, private members start with a leading underscore. Strongly private members start with double leading underscore. So it's like this. Underscore A equals to 10. Underscore A equals to 20. Okay. So that's what it says. Right. Okay. 2 and 3. Who said 2 and 3? Somebody said 2 and 3. 2, what is the maximum possible length of an identifier? We have said that there's no maximum possible length. It can be anything. Okay. So none of them mentioned. And which of the following is invalid? For the person who asked me about 3 also, you think through and tell me tomorrow. I've given you hints just now. Okay. Right. Now, Srinivas asked a very good question. He says, if A is 10 and B is also equal to 10, do they have the same memory location? So guys, what do you think? Do they have same memory location or not? Or do they have different memory locations? They don't have same memory location, different. Okay. Different. But I have to disappoint you guys. It's actually going to be the same memory location. You know why? It's the same memory location. Look, this is here where Python is actually very smart. Somebody was asking about garbage collection. So Python, it always checks out, can I save a bit of memory here and there so that I don't cause memory overloading, crashing, etc. So what it does, the moment you did A equals to 10, it created an object called A over here, if I say, with the value 10, suppose, over here. Okay. So this is A, say value 10. This is B. Ideally, it should have been different. But what it does, it says like this, yeah, this is same, one and the same. So let me not create one more object and thus use a precious memory location. So it actually is the same object with a different name. It's like this. Suppose you have a proper name. You may also have a nickname. We Indians have a lot of nicknames. Sodu, Monu, Tinku. Right? So it's like a nickname. B is a nickname for A. Okay, so this is why it's one and the same object. Okay, right. I told you 2 minutes. I have taken actually nearly 5 to 6 minutes worth of questions. I will take some more towards the end. So now let us move on to the next topic. Now the next topic that we will start is the Python data types. Now what is a data type? Quickly, let me see your understanding. What is a data type? Type of the data, good. We store some values, good. String, integer, float, data types, names, memory, good. Fantastic, right. It's like a container. Some of you are saying very good, right? So basically, what type of data you are storing is known as a data type, quickly. So what type of commonly data we have in our day-to-day lives? What do we encounter? It's a number, it's a word, right? It can be also mixed data types like numbers, words, and something more. It can be booleans like true, false. Okay, it can also be hashed data types. So based on it, basically in Python, we have the following data types, which Python supports. One is numbers, one is string, boolean, list, tuple, set, dictionary. We will go through all of these one by one. So numbers basically over here in Python, which is the first data type, commonly these three numerical data types are supported by Python. One is called integer, one is a float, and the third one is complex. So all those of you who are accustomed to things like long, double, etc., forget it. There's just one set of all of these are accommodated in either a integer or a float data type. Okay, you don't have separately long, double, etc. Now, integer can mean a positive integer or a negative integer. Float can be a positive floating point number or a negative floating point number. And complex, so I assume you guys know, any number which has got a real part and an imaginary part is known as complex data type. Correct? Right? So can you quickly type out for me one integer data type, one float data type, and a complex data type? Quickly, I want to see your chats in the next few minutes. Good, float 10. Okay, Sheikh, what I'm saying is just give an example of an integer data type, of a floating point data type, and a complex data type. Good. Right. Very good, Haider. Very good, Rajshekhar. Yes, Namita. Good, fantastic. Now, what I will do is I will generate, great guys, thanks a lot. What I will do is I will quickly create, now I will speak in terms of objects, by the way. I will create 3 numerical objects and check their types. A is 10, I have done before. Type of A is what? It's class int. A is 20. What type it is? This class int again. What if I make it 20.0? What type it is? Class float. And A is, say, complex 10, 20. This is how I can generate a complex number. And what type of data it is? This class complex. Right? Now, again here, note, see why Python is so easy and powerful. Those of you, again, if I take back the reference of C or C++, if you remember how you used to do data type assignment, you used to say like this: int A equals to 10, float B equals to 20.01, and likewise, correct? But here what happens, the moment you give like this A equals to 20 without a decimal, so Python automatically understood that it has got to create a object of integer class and assign the value 20 to it. Similarly, when you did 20.0, it smartly understood, interpreted that you have to create a object of floating class and assign the value 20.0 to it, likewise for complex. Similarly, when we go to strings, we will understand how it does with the quotes. Okay, so quickly try this out, please. I have shown you how to create numbers and how to check their types. Now I want you to try this out on your own. Yes, complex means it should contain imaginary part. So what it is saying, when I use this function, it's called typecasting. It actually takes 10 as the real part and 20 as the imaginary part. If you see this 10 plus 20j. Here we use the term j, not I in Python. Sheikh, you can give like this also actually. V equals to 10 plus 20j. This also will work for you. Okay. The easiest way to do it is actually quickly generate by using the complex. Fine. So far, so good. Right. So then let's move on. One more thing about numbers is that they're immutable. What does immutable mean? What does the term mutation mean? Mutation means changing from one form to another. Right? So yeah, change is correct, Adiba. But so I cannot change a number. Suppose A is 10. I cannot change it to 20. Can I? Do you think I can? Will it work? Let's see. Okay. Apparently it works. But now let's see whether it really works. So let me find the memory location of this object A. Let me write it down here. Oh, otherwise no need. I will, anyway, the screen is visible. Now let me make it A as 30.08 and check the memory location of it. So do you see this object? The memory location for the object 30.08 is very different from this one. That means what has happened is that when I created A equals to 20, it created an integer object which was stored at this memory location. The moment I did A equals to 30.08, it deleted that object and created a new one, which is totally different from the old one. In that it is a floating point number and it is stored at this memory location. So this is how the law of immutability, yes, it will be overwritten, Mohit, well said, is actually implemented. Okay. So I've told you about int, I've told you, given you examples of real numbers, floating point. Now, coming to, now we have two topics here to understand very closely. One is what sort of mathematical functions we have, which we can use in Python. All of you who have had basic mathematics in your class till class 10 and then are thereafter in class 11, 12, you know that there are quite a lot of mathematical functions that are used by scientists and mathematicians, like trigonometrical functions, then logarithmic expressions, etc., etc. And any good programming language worth its salt actually has lots of functions which can do these, use these, implement these functionalities. Okay. So here in Python, we have a whole host of them, which we will discuss. And another thing is called as typecasting. Another concept is called as typecasting, in which you can convert a data type of similar type to another data type. Okay. And the third is the concept of operators. Okay. So let's go through them one by one. Okay, now it's nearly 8:50. So I will continue for 5 more minutes and keep the last 5 minutes for your questions. Okay, but let's take up the mathematical functions. Now, quickly, can you think through and tell me 5 mathematical functions? It can be mathematical, calculus, trigonometry, which you have ever used in your student life. Any 5? Okay, some of you are saying log, add, sub, multiplication, division, sum, cosine. Okay. Those are not exactly functions. Mean, median, mode, very good. Statistical functions. Exponent, addition, math multiplication, division, modulus, yes. Sine, less than, sub, add, cos, very good. Okay. Have you used functions like this? Absolute, ABS. Average, yes. ABS. Correct. Then have you used something like this? Seal, min, max, right? Fraction, standard deviation, floor, very good. Right. So most of these are supported. Here's a quick glance of the functions that we normally use. Actually, in Python now, there's a module called as math, which supports lot of these functions. Now, what is this module and what did I just do? DIR. Although we will cover these in details, but let me give you a quick glance into it. Module basically, yes, Meghna, I'm trying to explain it in brief. Module basically is a file or a Python file actually, in which some person has implemented some functionality so that you don't have to do that hard work again. When you use import, it's like you're in C or C++, the hash include. Okay, so this import makes this a module, a part of your own code base. Okay, so math module similarly has got a lot of mathematical functions. Things like, say, log, modif, pi. It's not a function, but a constant pow or power, radians, remainder, sine, signage, cos, cosage, square root. Okay, so all of these are used. We will also use quite a few of them. We will commonly use the absolute, the seal. These will be used. We will use a lot this one, round, square root, sometimes, not always, and power. Yeah, shake, leave it for the moment. TIR, it's a function. Leave it for the moment, why it is used. Just understand that I've shown you what are the contents of this math module or math file, basically. Okay. Right. So these are some of the functions. So round, now very important will be round, because many times you will have to round down decimals. So suppose 10.6543, and then I want this to 2 decimal places, and it will make it as 10.65. And what if it's 10.6599? It is 10.66. Is my voice steady or is my voice breaking? Anybody has a problem with my voice? Is it steady, loud, clear? Okay, steady, thank you. Steady, thanks, no problem, sir. Steady, clear, very good. It is steady and clear. Thank you so much. So you who raised this problem? Okay, those of you who are saying you have a problem, please check your connection as well. Okay, now, okay. So square root, you know, guys, it's basic. It finds the square of a particular number, say square root of 4. So here I had a problem. Now let me show you. So import maths. So I need to do maths.sqrt4. Now what did I just do? Why didn't I use this for round? Why didn't I use maths dot, and why did I use here? That's because, friends, the functions that come with a module, and which when you import that module, you need to first give the maths that module name, then dot. That means from this module math, you use the function square root. One other way to do it, I don't want to bog you right now with it. You can also put a command like import math as A or M. That means use, rather than using the entire name math, you can use this alias. You can say M dot square root or seal. Let's say seal. 10.56. Okay, so this is another way to do it. Okay, good. Now, I will draw the class to a closure today. It's already 8:55 as per my standard clock, laptop clock. 5 minutes. Let's try to absorb that we have learned. I hope you enjoyed what you have learned today. I hope you can understand at least why Python has become so popular and why you need to learn it. And not just learn it, but master it. Okay. So, right, the session is now open for your questions. 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Recording on today's lecture, I think Leela already told you, no, that it will be uploaded to your LMS. Attendance link, Amar has already sent it. Amar, can you please send them again, the attendance link?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Yes, Srinivas, you don't have to tell me hello. Please go ahead with your question. Seal, okay, I will tell you, Seal. Shushmita, is math module built in? Is math module built in what? Module. It's a module, Shushmita. Don't worry about it too much. Okay, I think Namita, he had asked me also to recollect all that I had said. Before that, I will tell you. Absolutely, statistical problems. Whole machine learning is based on statistics and use Python. Mihir, you check it. Okay, you check it. It's a good use case for you to check. Okay, seal means ceiling, guys. What is ceiling? The next higher value. So when I did m.seal of 10.56, what is the next higher whole digit? It is 11. And if I had done floor, it would have taken the lower whole digit, which would have been 10. Okay, right. Srinivas, you don't need to use the math module to calculate the exponential. It is used by simple exponentiation operator called as star. This is how your exponentiation will work. Okay, right. Okay, Namita, you had joined late and you had asked me to recapitulate for you. Namita, briefly, we understood why Python has become very popular. In case, Namita, you're still there in the class. So why Python has become popular, we went through it. Then I had a quick discussion with the guys on what is the basics of computing, things like bits and bytes, things like what is a RAM, what is memory, what is interpreter, what are compilers. Then we discussed, actually at the beginning, we had also discussed how Python is to be downloaded and installed. And once these were done, we had our first programs when we wrote a print statement and also did some mathematical operations in the IDLE shell. Post that, we took up the data types from where I believe you were already there. So yeah, that was it. Okay, Murli, time is very short, so no project, but as assignments have already given you, I gave you questions. I have asked you to try also a few things. Meghna, no botheration. There's no problem at all. It's not a botheration. All your questions are welcome. Yes, here is the question slide. You can have a quick look at it. Tell me. In the meanwhile, I will take anyone. I didn't get attendance link. Rakhi, already he shared it again. Ravi Kiran, modules and libraries are different, the same. Ravi, you can think of it as same for the moment. For members who are registered, evening didn't get the link. Kavyanjali, please mail to the EDL link that was given. Shagufta, init is constructed in Python. Yes, Shagufta, correct. But constructed is same name as class. I didn't understand that. Init is the constructor method in Python. Narsima, I think I replied to you. Sorry, guys, if I'm missing somebody's question. Lot of questions coming in. Can you brief class today? Syllabus, I think it was shared. In case you need it, please drop it to the EDL team. Meghna, import means defined functions are stored in it if you want to use it. No, Meghna, not exactly that, but leave it. I will come to the details. What is the math.degree? Math.radians. Srinivas, you can check out the documentations. Won't be covering all of those. Okay, there are lots and lots of methods in math. Okay. By the way, Meghna, the same questions are there in your LMS. Part 1, you can go through slides 36, 37, from 35 onwards. Okay. Okay, thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for joining in. If you have questions, I will take a few more. Otherwise, we can wrap up today. I look forward to welcome you all again in tomorrow's session with a fresh mind and with a very high Josh. Okay. Thank you, all of you. Notes, Sadia, notes, the LMS notes are already there. Please check. Thank you, Hershey. Tomorrow lecture time, everybody, 7 to 9.7. Please be there. Don't miss out on this wonderful session. And please like and subscribe to our channel, like the videos today in YouTube, those of you who are in YouTube. Thank you, Narasimha. Yeah, it will be very useful for your careers. Absolutely, it's now the hot cake, Python. Thank you, Mohit. Thank you, Jahnavi. Thank you, Charan. Thank you, all of you. Yes, Kirti, thank you. Right. Yes, Sai, thanks. Okay. Okay, bye. Good evening, everybody. Good night, everybody. Have a great time ahead. Do practice whatever little you have learned. Yeah. Good night. Thank you, Kirti. Yes, you can leave the session, Kirtana. Bye. Okay, Amar, I'm also signing off in that case. Bye. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thanks.
So guys, I already shared the attendance link in the chat box. Please mark your attendance and share your valuable feedback as well. And if you have any query or question regarding to the LMS, so please drop an email to edl@excelr.com. Our team will help you on the same. Okay. Material for this session and recorded sessions will be there on LMS. So please visit LMS. Yeah, we are done with the session. If you don't have any query or question, then you can leave the session. We'll meet you on tomorrow at same time. Sai Krishna, I just shared that email. I'm sharing with you once again. Just a minute. Yeah, share. Radhika, please drop an email. Our team will share with you. Okay. YouTube people, do you have any query or question? Okay, so Yash is there. Thank you, sir. It's really helpful. Thank you so much. So Sagar, please ask this question on tomorrow's session to Deep sir. Okay, they will help you on the same. Okay, so there is one question: duration for this course. So guys, this course will be there for 5 days, and the duration is 10 hours. Every day, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Friday. Okay. Yes, Radhika, you will get the recorded session over LMS. Gayatri saying, sir, I submitted my attendance. Great. Anybody is remaining to fill the attendance form? Do we? Okay, guys, and thank you so much, all of you, for joining the session. We'll meet you on tomorrow at same time. Okay.